Good luck, Harry Potter.
Lumos, the wizarding world of Harry Potter, continues to illuminate our lives as more and more stories are added to the storied franchise. So the IGN staff compiled a list of the top 25 Harry Potter characters. Let's begin.
Harry Potter. Such an honor it is.
Dobby is this strange little creature, but his intentions are always noble, and his determination to help Harry commendable. In his dying moments, he clearly has no regrets about literally giving his all for his friend Harry, resulting in one of the most touching moments in the series.
Dobby is happy to be with his friend.
Do you think you can hold me?
Voldemort eventually overshadows him, but there is a time when Grindelwald's the most feared villain in all the wizarding world. The Fantastic Beasts movies offer compelling wrinkles to the character by showcasing Grindelwald's troubled relationship with close friend turned rival Albus Dumbledore and his rising reign of terror in the early 20th century.
Only in rare souls. Close your eyes.
Ginny and Harry's romance seems to both spring up out of nowhere and feel like it was meant to be all along. It's only natural that Harry should wind up finding love in the same family where he finds, well, love. And in the books, Ginny becomes a true leader of rebel forces, like no other, a strong, determined, and alluring young woman, perfect for our protagonist.
Mr. Gilderoy, Lockhart.
Through sheer charisma and the occasional memory charm, Gilderoy Lockhart establishes himself as one of the most accomplished wizards of all time. But all his alleged heroics are made up. His buffoonery and incompetence eventually get the best of him, but the fact that he can keep the act going so long and love himself so much, it is pretty impressive.
Nice big smile, Harry. Together you and I rate the front page.
Albus Severus Potter.
Growing up with the biggest celebrity in the wizarding world for a father has to be tough. And then Albus Severus is named after two of the most important wizards in history. His central conflict in The Cursed Child is right there in the name. He feels the pull between fame and anonymity, good and evil, and Gryffindor and Slytherin.
No time to explain. Straight upstairs, first door on the left.
The perfect, loving, giving mother, and a powerful witch to boot. That's Molly Weasley for you, and her treatment of Harry has always been a particularly wonderful part of the series. She also has her own courage and strength to call upon. When her children are threatened, well, let's just say Bellatrix learns her lesson the hard way.
I'm here because Dumbledore asked me. End of story. Goodbye, the end.
One of the most renowned Aurors of all time, Moody's a fierce fighter. Even though he's paranoid, bitter, eccentric, has a wooden leg, a face covered with scars, and a magical eye. But he's still brave, helping protect Harry, dying in the line of duty.
I believe you're familiar with this particular brew.
Today, we will be transforming animals into water goblets.
As the head of Gryffindor House and deputy head mistress of Hogwarts, Professor McGonagall can be a strict disciplinarian. But she can also be kind of like that cool aunt of yours, the one who sometimes lets you get away with a bit of mischief. We'll never forget how awesome she was in the Battle of Hogwarts.
Good morning, children.
Oh, how we hate this woman. And that's what makes her such a strong character. For one miserable year, she's a constant, miserable presence in Harry's life. And that's just the beginning of her despicable acts. And the fact that she speaks in a blatantly forced sing-song voice and wears gaudy pink clothing only adds to her hideousness.
You deserve to be punished.
Mr. Potter.
A man of power and influence in the wizarding world, Lucius hides behind a shield of wealth while plotting some very dark things. You can feel Lucius's absolute conviction in his actions and his anger that a boy like Potter would dare attempt to stop Voldemort, which makes him such an effective villain. Lucius has shown he is willing to do anything in support of his Dark Lord.
Don't let me come down there.
Nerdy, awkward, and obsessed with work, Newt's very similar to Hermione. He's also our gateway into the weird and wonderful creatures of the Harry Potter universe. We just want to see more from Dumbledore's soft-spoken errand boy.
Good show, Mr. Kowalski.
After me. Ridiculous.
An old friend of Harry's parents, Remus Lupin is an important window for Harry into their lives, and a significant adult confidant, and a friend in a time when Harry really needs one. Oh, and he's a werewolf! Lupin doesn't see his furry side as a plus, of course, but it's a very cool extra component to the character, as we see this thoughtful, warm man work to control the monster he turns into.
You're just as sane as I am.
She is an offbeat type with an interest in the macabre. While Luna Lovegood is often shunned for her oddball ways, things change when she meets Harry Potter and friends on the Hogwarts Express. She joins the cadre of heroic students in Dumbledore's army and plays a critical role within the group. Just several of many reasons why we love her.
Sorry about that.
For a boy like Harry, who grew up without any friends, a big, warm, and fuzzy brute like Hagrid couldn't have bust down the door at a better time. When others among the staff at Hogwarts skewer Harry with insults or shrug off his queries with mysterious glares, Hagrid's always there, as a true confidant.
He's not Fred, I am.
While everyone else frets over their exams, Ron's older brothers have an entrepreneur's eye and a magician's mirth. And the more they pester and prod Ron, the more we realize that they're the older brothers we've always wanted. And the two prove they're not just goofy side-splitters. They're also brave and valiant freedom fighters. There are few characters who can make us laugh or cry as hard as Fred and George.
Just trying to diffuse the tension.
Itsy bitsy baby.
Some people just enjoy being evil. If you're looking for proof, let us introduce you to Bellatrix Lestrange and suggest you pray that you survive the encounter. She murders her own cousin, Sirius Black, sadistically tortures Hermione, and murders Dobby, giving this woman a stunning list of horrific accomplishments. Her complex evil is only emphasized in the cursed child.
And I'm Malfoy. Draco Malfoy.
While the threat of Voldemort's return looms outside the walls of Hogwarts, Harry needs a lesser evil to occupy him while school's in session. Privileged, pompous, and prejudiced, Draco does his absolute best to make Harry's life as harried and horrible as possible. As nasty as he is, he's not a murderer. But Draco is more than meets the eye, and gets a surprising amount of depth as Harry Potter goes on.
Well done, Draco. Well done.
Sirius.
Harry's godfather maintains a sort of edgy, rebellious appeal, emitting a truly badass vibe at times, but it's the father-son relationship that begins to develop between Sirius Black and Harry that endears the character to us. Sadly, Sirius meets his untimely demise before he can truly become the full-fledged father figure that Harry so craves. When other powerful sorcerers don't even have the cojones to speak your name, then you know you have truly arrived as the ultimate master of malice. As arguably the most sinisterly popularized villain since Darth Vader, Voldemort's truly frightening. But his fans still delight in such a devilishly dreadful dude, wondering how Harry might possibly survive their final encounter.
Mr. Longbottom.
Dimwit turned hero, Neville is a shy introvert who evolves into the hero Hogwarts needs. He begins to show loyalty and signs of bravery early on, but it's really in Neville's 5th year in Dumbledore's army where we truly see him come into his own. His story is a parallel one to Harry's, and he becomes so much more than a comic side character.
Welcome to another year at Hogwarts.
Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore, the wise sage, guide, and pseudo-grandfather of the story. He has a whimsical eccentricity and can come off absent-minded, but do not be deceived. From taking on Voldemort in a one-on-one battle to single-handedly thwarting off a horde of zombie-like Inferi, he is one of the most skilled wizards that ever lived. He's also flawed, which adds a sympathetic and complex layer to him that makes us love him all the more.
There will be no foolish wand-waving or silly incantations in this class.
Is he an evil man with moments of good, or a good man who has some very ugly characteristics? Or something more complicated altogether? Severus Snape is one of the most discussed and debated characters. He's a nightmare of a teacher, favors Slytherin students, and kills Dumbledore. But he's so much more than the villain he seems to be. We'll have a special place in our hearts for Severus Snape, always.
I'm Ron, by the way. Ron Weasley.
Ron Weasley is Harry Potter's best friend and ever-present sidekick. But Ron isn't stuck to Harry's shadow. He overcomes his shortcomings with faithfulness and perseverance. Like how he goes from bumbling Gryffindor keeper to Quidditch hero. Ron's evolution is a sight to behold as he turns into a vigilante leader and marries Hermione.
I'm Hermione Granger. And you are?
At first painted as a brainy do-gooder who always plays by the rules, it's fun to watch Hermione Granger develop into so much more over the course of the series. She remains the much-needed voice of reason, but she'll break the law without hesitation if it's for the greater good. You will find no better friend or magical ally than the brightest witch of her age.
Harry Potter.
Everybody loves an underdog story of good versus evil, and that's Harry Potter in a nutshell. We have watched Harry grow up in this fantastic setting, forming friendships, fighting foes, and finding love. He faces tremendous loss and makes terrible sacrifices of his own, but Harry Potter stands strong. Importantly, he's not perfect, but Harry's defects only help to endear us to him, as he feels so very real and part of both our world and the magical one.
Ready?
Ready.
Who is your favorite Harry Potter character? Tell us in the comments section. And don't forget to check out our Fantastic Beasts Crimes of Grindelwald review. Plus, how well does the cast know their Harry Potter spells? And as always, be sure to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.